Hi there, Mr. Flegg here. Going to go through the estimation project as found in your documents. So the estimation is one of the most crucial components of the construction process. Construction cost estimating is the process of forecasting the expense of building a physical structure. In order to determine a project's scope and feasibility, project owners or homeowners typically use cost estimates to allocate their budget. So this is estimating so you have an idea of how much something is going to cost. That way you don't get surprised by how expensive something can be. So for this project, we're going to follow the procedure in the sheet below, and we're going to use the online resources listed to estimate the price of and amount of materials needed to build a simple room. The room that you'll be estimating will be the living or family room in your house. It is important for this project to ignore the closets and the other weird parts of your room, like closets and jogs and cutouts and stuff like that. We want to go with a very simple room. If you don't have a family room or a living room, maybe your bedroom or something like that, as long as you ignore closets and things like that. So when you're done this, you will hand in a plan view drawing of your room with dimensions. And if you look at the other video called Drawing a Simple Room, you will be able to complete that. Overall cost of the project, that's going to be completed at the bottom of this workbook, and the cost breakdown of the project, how much for lumber, how much for drywall, etc. And once we're done the whole entire overall of this, once we're done everything, we're going to add 10% to the total cost of everything to cover glue, nails, screws, extra frame material, etc. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to measure our living room. Using the calculator below, you will calculate the square footage of floor and walls in your room. Record your results in the space provided below. So, as you recall from the simple room drawing of mine, I had a 20 foot by 10 foot room. And my room, if you do the square footage calculation, is 20 times 10 equals 200 square feet. So that's fairly easy. And that would be my answer. Just fill it in, and there we go. What is the square footage of the walls? So for the walls, if you look at there's going to be 4 walls total, and there's going to have a height, but 2 of the walls are going to be the same, and the other 2 are going to be the same. So in my 20 by 10 foot room, I have 2 walls at 20 feet by 8 feet. That's the height. The height is 8 feet. And I have 2 walls at 10 feet by 8 feet. So, to do this calculation, all I got to do is 20 times 8, and that equals, let me get my calculator out. Good thing to have a calculator all the time. Where's my calculator? Here it is. So 20 times 8 equals 320 square feet. And 10 10 times 8 equals, so 2 times the product of 10 times 8, 160. So 160 square feet. Those two together, 320. So total square footage, and this is before window and door subtraction, is 320 plus 160, and that is going to equal 480 square feet. And that is how many square feet your walls are going to have. And that's important for measuring out drywall and also measuring out paint. So I'm not going to do everything for you. You have to, before you're done this, you have to measure out the size of all the windows and all the doors, and you're going to subtract that from that 480, and that's going to give you the true square footage for your walls. After you've done that, you take your information and go to the end of our workbook. We're going to go to the first couple questions. So, square footage of room, that's the floor. That's where we put our first number there. And the square footage of the walls, that's our second number right there. Fairly easy. So, that one's pretty straightforward. Make this a little bit smaller. Here's something that you're going to use when you are discussing or figuring out how to figure out how much 2x4 lumber are needed for the framing. What's important is this is split into two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is the top and bottom, or the sole plates, and that's going to be 2x4 by 96 inches. And the top and bottom, or the sole plates, is this here along the top. There's a double along the top, and there's a single along the bottom. So we got two top plates and one sole plate. And that's the first set of information here. That's this thing. If you go through it, be fairly straightforward. Number 2, stud window and door rough opening calculation. How many 92 and 5/8 2x4s are needed? And that is referring to all of the other parts of framing. We're not going to worry about headers. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to assume that we're making only interior walls, and headers like this and that are designed for exterior walls. That's pretty straightforward. If you have trouble, contact me about it. What we're going to do here is we're going to calculate the amount and cost of drywall needed. So let's say that 480, I ended up with about 400. I ended up with about 400 square feet for my walls. So I'm going to use a calculator, which I've included on the document, to figure out how much drywall we need. So I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to put in my room dimensions. We know this. The width of the room is 10 feet. The length is 20. And the height is 8. These calculators are awesome. Now I'm going to include the ceiling. Panel size, we'll go 4x8. Price per panel, we're going to have to figure that out right here. So I'm going to copy this link now. Make a new website. And here we see that our 4x8 1/2-inch gypsum drywall at the Home Depot is $14.48 each. So let's put that information in there. $14.48 each. We're going to hit calculate. So to do the walls and the ceiling, you're going to need 22 sheets of 4x8 drywall. The total cost before tax is $318.56. Screws, tape, joint compound. We're not going to worry. That $680 is including the ceiling. So we're going to take this information here, the 22 sheets and the $318.56. We're going to go back to our workbook. Oh, we can do $14.48. How many sheets of drywall are needed? 22. And the price, I've forgotten already, is $318.56. See right here, $318.56. And that's before tax. We're going to do everything before tax. Make it easy on us here. $318.56. Move this over a little bit so it's easier to see. And here we are taking these $14.48, and this is $318.56. So take these numbers here, and I'm going to add them to my workbook at the end again. So what is the price per 4x8 by 1/2-inch drywall is $14.48. How many sheets of drywall needed for my project? 22. And what's the cost of drywall? Is $318.56. $318.56. So what you're going to do is go through this workbook using the websites I provided, and you're going to end up with this table being filled in from top to bottom. So estimated cost table right at the very end. And we're going to fill everything out. It follows along with the document, so there's no jumping around. It goes step by step by step. At the very end, we're going to take all the information that we found here, and we're going to answer these three questions. What is the total cost of this project before extras? Before is important there. So just the total cost of everything from the table added together. And then you're going to multiply the cost of this project by 10%, which means you take the number from here and times it by 1.10, and that's going to add 10% of cost. We're going to end up with the final estimated cost of this project, and that is what you are going to fill out. So it's fairly straightforward. It seems like a daunting task because there's so many pages to go through, but I've broken it down and I've added websites to help you all the way along here. So it shouldn't be too difficult. You can select your own paint color. You can calculate the amount of flooring and what type of flooring you need. Molding, it's not too difficult. So if you're having any troubles at all, contact me and I'll be glad to help you go through it.